Hello, welcome back. Happy Arvo. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming back. I've got a good one. I think it's going to be good, guys. 9 reasons to move to Australia in 2022. Okay, yesterday, 10 reasons not to come. Nah, I don't buy it. I need to know why to come. I already know a bunch of reasons, but hey, let's see if there's anything fresh in this video by That Johnston Life. Go check this dude out. All right, let's go. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Guys, what's going on? Okay, I'm not going to hit that button again. Here we go.
If you're wondering how true all of those videos telling you about how dangerous and horrible Australia is to live in, well, yes. I can tell you now, they're all bullshit. G'day guys, my name's...
Is the Wi-Fi actually as bad as that video said it was? Or the internet in general? That's what I need to know.
Ross, and I moved with my family from the UK to Australia during a global pandemic. Whilst I'm not a fan of overpopulation, I do feel like we need to inform and share with people how beautiful and wonderful this country is to live in. So this is my 9 reasons to move to Australia.
This guy really thinks he's afraid his video might overpopulate Australia. I like that. That's some confidence. I think there's plenty of land there though.
Australia in 2022. Now the first reason is to do with your quality of life. If you're a fan of outdoor living, time with the family, general sunshine on your face and having a beer with your mates, well you can
Sounds like paradise.
Rest assured that all of these things exist in Australia. Now because these things were important to us, coming from the UK, we realised that they weren't really in abundance, especially the sunshine type of thing. And with our jobs and our lifestyle, we soon realised that we needed to move abroad. Now in Brisbane, with twice the amount of sunshine hours as the UK, and with better jobs that can afford us more time, we have time now to spend with our friends and our family. The only
Twice the sunshine, is that just meaning like less rainy, cloudy weather, or is that literally like the days are longer there?
The thing we're waiting for now is our loved ones to be able to visit us, but we won't have to wait too long for that now. Now reason number 2 is a debatable subject, and that's coffee. And on this occasion I'm going to be like most of my fellow Aussies and say that you're wrong. The coffee culture in Australia is second to none. In the UK...
Oh, I thought he was saying that I interpreted that wrong. I think that sounds awesome. I would love to go to Australia and drink all their coffee.
Hey, I thought that we liked coffee, but like America with its growing commercial...
No, you guys like tea in the UK.
I soon too realised that the UK coffee is a bit crap. There's a reason why in Australia people get up so bloody early. And it's not to go down the beach to get their morning surf or to exercise before it gets too bloody hot. It's so they can pop down to their local coffee shop and get a nice early spot in the queue. I've even upgraded to one of those fancy coffee machines in my home. And it's got nothing to do with me enjoying a better cuppa in the morning, but it's so I can be more pretentious about what tasting notes I can detect and how my coffee beans are ground. Now
that is the status I wish to achieve one day. I'm still at like using Folgers.
3 is for all those money-grubbing mercenaries out there. The average wage in Australia is a little over $90,000 a year, which is nearly twice
$90,000 a year? What?
Twice that of the UK.
Get wrecked. Oh my gosh. That's insane.
Everyone always counteracts this with, isn't it more expensive to live in Australia? And they're right. It is. But not only do we also have more money here in Australia, I also believe that our purchasing power is also higher. And if you're wondering what purchasing power is, let me explain. Now, if I buy a pint of milk in the UK for 60p and I'm on minimum wage, for an hour's work I can buy nearly 14 pints of milk. In Australia, that same pint of milk is going to cost about $1.15, and if I'm also on minimum wage, I can buy nearly 18 pints of milk for the same time. Now I know that this isn't going to be the same for everything, and everyone's wage is different depending on their job, but after living here and experiencing it for a year, I can say that I actually feel like I have more money in my pocket. And it's a bloody good feeling. The only thing I haven't found though is an alternative to 99p drinks in Wetherspoons. God, can you imagine what it would be like in Australia if they had drinks that cheap? I guess I'll just have to enjoy that now on visit.
Might be a good thing they don't.
Back to the UK. Now after a long day at work, wouldn't you like to come back and enjoy a larger house with a pool? Well, maybe that's going to happen for you. Yes, some house prices in Australia mean if you move to that city, it's going to mean a downgrade. But when we wanted to move to Australia, we meant that we wanted to move to all of Australia. And that lack of wanting to move to a specific city gave us a lot more flexibility. This allowed us to keep our options open and help us to think, what do we want from our lifestyle, and then pick something accordingly that we could afford. If we still lived in the UK, then yeah, we probably could have afforded a bigger house, probably without a pool unless you wanted to sit there and blow it up, but it definitely wouldn't have been in a place that we wanted to live. If you're wanting to move to Australia, then be safe in the knowledge that there are bigger and better houses out there for you. Maybe not exactly where you want to live, but unless you're a millionaire, then you're probably going to have to make some sacrifices in your life. I know a major turning point for me was after a long week of teaching kids.
I need to find a video about the housing prices because it seems like an interesting topic.
That didn't want to learn, and having a scan on the internet and realising my 3-bedroom semi-detached in the UK could be upgraded for a 4-bedroom detached house with a pool in Australia. And I know I keep banging on about a pool. To be honest, they're harder to maintain than sometimes I can be bothered. But you can always...
So it's cheaper in Australia than the UK?
Always just buy a robot. Now last year some boffins...
It completely depends where you're living, right? In what city or not in a city.
Made up a list of the world's most livable cities. And guess what? 4 of them were Australian. So if you live in Adelaide, Perth, Melbourne or Brisbane, then you're a lucky so-and-so. And if you still live back in the UK, well, sorry, none of them are there. Now this was compiled by the Global Livability Index, and it takes into consideration factors like education, culture, your environment, crime, and even pressures on the infrastructure around you. Now I'm sorry if I seem quite passionate about this, but as an ex-geography teacher,
no, I enjoy it.
I'm kind of geeking out on the subject. And the reason why you should be geeking out on it too is these are the types of things that should be important to you, especially if you're going to move over here with a young family.
I mean, that about sums up life, right? Like those few things right there. If you have good quality of life in those aspects, you're probably going to be kind of happy.
Now, I know a lot of the previous 10 cities have fallen out of favour because of their response to COVID. But if it takes a global pandemic to expose some of the flaws of where you live, well, I suppose that's kind of a good thing. The other great thing is that most of these cities, apart from Melbourne, are still really affordable to live in. And if you want to do what I did, I checked out realestate.com.au and looked.
So Melbourne's more expensive than Sydney? I would have always thought, for some reason, I always hear Sydney, you know what I mean?
To all of the different houses that could be available within my price bracket. Now, if that's inspired you already, but you're worried about what you need to do to actually move over here, then you might want to speak to our friends at True Blue Migration Services. True Blue
I'm gonna skip this part.
Speak to True Blue Migration to move to this beautiful country. They're free advices without homesick feelings that you might have. And the fact is, you probably won't be the only Brit in Australia. British people in Australia
I'm not British.
Make up the largest migrant group, and there's over 1 million of us. So you won't have to go far until you're in Australia.
Where is the USA? What the heck? Nobody from the USA goes there, huh? The hell? Greece is above USA?
Australia make up the largest migrant group, and there's over 1 million of us. So you won't have to go far until you hear a familiar voice. With the mix of online forums,
the freaking
British
US people
pubs,
representing?
British shops, there's plenty of opportunities for you to be able to get your British fix. Now, whilst I'll always recommend for you to get out there and mix with the locals, don't worry, only some of them bite. We're always going to smile when we hear a familiar accent. The guy that painted my banisters, he was from Liverpool. The guy that did my pest inspection, he was from up north. I'm sorry I can't pinpoint exactly where he came from. My ear isn't that good, I didn't ask him. And for me, a southern fairy, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I smile when I hear an Australian accent, so, you know, give and take.
Sorry, but most northerners sound the same, as I'm sure we do to them. The point is, you don't have to go too far to find a fellow Brit and take them down the pub and have a drink and talk about how shit your lives were back in the UK and why it's so much better over here. Now, reason number 7 might not make sense to anyone not coming from the UK, but in Australia, they also drive on the left. And they also recognise UK driving licences, so you can just get them changed over. You still have to pay for it, but it's one less thing to worry about.
I'm sure they don't do that for USA because we drive on the right side. So I would kind of hope they make me take a test.
I suppose. Signs are obvious.
I would be a threat to humanity if I was just let loose on those roads.
Different, but ever so slightly familiar, and driving on slightly wider roads gives you a smiling sense, if not ever so slightly squinting, because the sun's stronger in you. I always end up having to drive in sunglasses now. The only thing I have to contend with now is just Australians that don't know how to drive. And the fact that they don't
I've heard that twice now. That's insane that that's such a thing.
know how to drive leads me nicely onto reason number 8. and that's the laid-back attitude. Australians are funny, friendly, and ever so informal. If Aussies were any more laid-back, they'd be horizontal. Looking back on our lives in the UK, everything just seemed to feel so much on edge, and it was like you were losing something if things didn't go to plan. Here, the only question you need to ask yourself is, what's the worst that's going to happen? And I guess it's so much easier to have no worries when everyone around you also seems to share the same sentiment in life. I suppose it also helps to have more sunshine on your face to make you feel better about the day. I don't think I could cope with another winter in the UK.
There really might be something to that.
I'm scared that Australia's making me soft. Now, reason number 9 is the reason why you're still listening to me jabber on about why it's great to live in Australia. And that's because all you want is a fresh start. It's what you've wanted. It's the change that you've been looking for. There's nothing worse than living a life.
This guy's starting to kind of sound like one of those cult leader like intro videos. It's the change you've been looking for. A fresh start.
That you're not happy with. If you're fortunate enough to go out there and grab what you want, then you should have the courage to go out and do it. The last 2 years have shown us all how bad situations can expose the current flaws in our lives. If that's made you realise that you need something new, then don't be one of these people that looks back on their life and regrets the things that they never did. I can sit here and tell you about how
this guy's good at convincing, though, persuading.
Wonderful my life here is in Australia, but only you have the power to change yours. Hopefully
I would at least need to freaking go visit first before I just moved there, though.
2022 will be a year where everything starts to get back to normal. So why don't you start your new normal in somewhere you've always wanted to be?
All right. Well, go check this dude's channel out. That was a fun video. I like that. That Johnston life. Wow. See, that brought me back up. You know, that invigorated my spirit to wanting to go back to Australia. I just need someone to show me the internet speed. I'm starting to beat that joke to death. Okay, well, you know what? Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Arvo. If you stayed all this time, I really appreciate it. You can subscribe. You can like the video. You can do nothing. I just appreciate that you were here with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Because I did. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.